Hello, my name is Zachary Williamson, and welcome back to Beat the Rake DFS. We have a interesting two-game UCL slate tomorrow, as well as a EPL slate. And I'll be honest, on the UCL slate, I'm gonna try to focus mostly on that. But there's much to say because of how DraftKings actually priced the players. And then for the EPL slate, obviously, it's going to be a lot on Liverpool being big favorites. So we'll break it down: Atletico Madrid and Man United. I'm gonna be honest, this lineup is wrong. Koke did not travel, neither did Cunha. So maybe you see like you probably play. I think they probably end up playing João Felix, where you see Cunha, and they probably end up playing maybe Rodrigo De Paul in this lineup. If you see this lineup without Koke, obviously, it'll be Rodrigo De Paul with sets. Maybe you don't see Kongbia. He's probably the cheapest one, but like this game's really ugly from a floor perspective. Mendeva does not get up. Llorente is okay. But Atletico is missing, and they've actually been really poor too. This past weekend they won 3-0, which sounds crazy that I'm calling them poor, but they were very clinical. They had like 3 shots, scored on all 3, and gave up like 70% possession to like a mid-table La Liga squad. And La Liga is not good right now. And then they lost to the last place team in the Liga the week before that. And so Simeone's squad is really struggling. But yeah, in this whole issue right here, so actually Thomas Lehmann apparently is doubtful. I don't know if he's doubtful, but one sec. I don't think so. I think he's gonna play. But yeah, I don't know what Silva's on. But yeah, so this game is interesting because like of how tight the pricing is. And I think I have to talk about this slate as like a whole. So you can see like your forwards from a forward perspective, like it's Haller, Tadic, Anthony, Ronaldo, Berschweiss. I don't think we see Griezmann. Maybe we do. But if you see him, he's just another expensive forward. Rashford's expensive. Maybe you see Sancho. Correa, you probably see. You probably don't see anybody till Luis Suarez or João Felix. Maybe see Anthony Elanga. But other than that, nothing cheaper than that. If we get anything cheaper than that, it's a gift. I don't think we will. And then midfielders too. Like it's just a really tight slate, and unfortunately, I'm gonna have to suggest something. When I'll just do it. I don't like doing this. It's not pretty, but Harry Maguire is 2,800, and if you need value on this slate, and he is a center back with probably the most popular goalie in De Gea, who's cheap, probably cheaper than he should be. And I'm not even trying to homer it too. He has clean sheet equity, right? He has scored here against Atalanta. He scored on the weekend. Pairs with Shaw, who's probably going to be very popular as well. So unfortunately, like it's just tough. It's a tough slate to build on. And obviously we'll know more if we get certain players and lineups, but I'm not expecting anything. But I kind of expect to be very Ajax and Man U heavy, and not even trying to be a homer, but I genuinely think that like maybe it's a 0-0, 1-0 game in Man U and Atletico. And Atletico hasn't been good. So Man U has been okay lately. So I think that this is maybe what you see. It's probably the lineup you see. You might see Fred in for Pogba, Fred in for McTominay. Played really well on the weekend, scored a goal after he came in as subs. Maybe you see Telles here. I'm hoping, like, as much as I want to see Telles as a Man U fan, I don't want to see Telles because he's like 1,000 more than Shaw. So, but that's this kind of game. It's obviously like the big question of the slate is like, who do you pay up for? And I think that like you're gonna want to play Bruno, and probably Tadic. And so like this like leaves you in this situation where you have like no salary left. and forward's expensive. So say you want to get Bergwijn in, you can see now you have like 4,000 to build. It's tough, right? You can't build, I believe, with Haller, Tadic, and Bruno. Maybe you could get Ronaldo in. I don't know. I think Ronaldo's ownership is going to be really low. He's got a history of destroying Simeone as well, so it's possible. But I think this is kind of like how my lineups are going to start. And then on the Ajax side, like they're favorited away, I believe, from home. But if you see this lineup here, João Mario will have sets. If he's not in, it'll be Grimaldo. And then I don't really love anybody else. Like Lazaro's cheap. He gets forward if you want to play. But Ajax is, again, like a lot of people are going to stack Ajax. I don't think we see Klaassen here. He got subbed out on the weekend. Gravenberch has started almost all of their USCL games. So I'm hoping we get Gravenberch because he's cheap. He's like just someone you can throw in from Ajax who's played 90. Like I said, he started all their Champions League game. If you don't see him, like you're probably gonna see like Kong. You're having to play him, Kong Dogbia. It's tough. It's really tough. Like let me show you. I'll try to build a lineup here. Again for Atletico, there's no Koke, no Carrasco. I think we see Rodrigo de Paul taking sets. He's taking sets when those guys are out. But yeah, so let's try to do it. So like again, we want Shaw, right? I think he's kind of the best back. Now you're kind of left in like you can see like the Ajax center backs are expensive in Martinez and Timber, right? The Atletico center backs are even pricey, I believe, as well, and Felipe and Savage. So Savage is there. So Felipe is, I guess, not that bad. Where's Felipe? So Felipe is 2.6. Like maybe you play Felipe. He doesn't have the same kind of like. So like Harry Maguire is one of the target men on the sets. That's why you play Harry Maguire. And then I think you play De Gea, right? And this is kind of like a skeleton lineup for cash. It's really tight, right? Because like where are you going to go for it? If you want to go play Bergwijn, then now you're left with like trying to find a midfield to punt for. No Sancho. So you have like 3,800. You play like Alvarez and like central midfielders who aren't very good, but you could do that, I guess. It'll be interesting to see what the lineups look like. Hopefully we get some value that we're not expecting, but I don't know. It's a tough build, but that makes it for an interesting slate. Like everybody's playing with the same salary. Nobody's gonna be able to fit anybody else in. So just to recap the UCL slate, because again, it's tough. I think your goalie is going to be De Gea. I'm going to play him a lot. Gets a lot of saves, has a lot of equity. Atletico hasn't been super good, so maybe Man U squeaks out a 0-0 or 1-0, or even if it's like 1-0 Atletico, De Gea gets some saves. Maybe you probably get Angel Correa or Luis Suarez as your second forward. If you see Rodrigo de Paul, I'd like to play Rodrigo de Paul, but he's 5.5. They priced him up. On Man U side, Pogba's cheap enough that like at 4.8, I'll probably have some shots with here. I'll try to get some Bruno, try to get some Sancho, some Shaw. Maybe see Lindelof. He's really cheap too. I don't know. This will probably be the Man U lineup. And then for Ajax Benfica, again, like Grimaldo's expensive. So unless he doesn't like if you don't see Jamario, maybe you say you play Grimaldo because he'll have sets. Lazaro's cheap enough that like you can maybe take a shout at him. But there isn't much here for Benfica. Like I do expect Ajax to control the game for the most part. Even though it's in Portugal, I believe. Yeah, it is. I don't know. Like Benfica's just not on the same level as what Ajax have been this year. They have an amazing manager, Ajax. I really want Man U to get Ten Hag. I don't think we'll get Ten Hag, unfortunately, but he's been rumored to Man U, so I would love for that. If you see like, so like, even if we look at like the Benfica forwards, like they're not cheap. right? Like it'd be one thing like if you saw like these guys around the 4,000, but like DK like really aggressively priced everybody up. It makes it really tough to build. It's even more tough to build, I'd say, than today's slate, which so it's interesting. Yeah, it's not a great slate, but there's definitely ways to attack it. I think one of the ways to do it is to play Harry Maguire at 2,800, hope for a center back goal, or you get a couple shots, maybe gets a clean sheet, and that like kind of opens up. But yeah, I think like that's kind of where you're left with. Like I said, Lazaro is cheap enough that he used to cross a lot. He doesn't do it too much anymore, but used to be a lot more forward playing. So it'll be interesting. It's obviously going to come down to lineups as it always does. But again, just like sets Rodrigo de Paul, like Rodrigo de Paul for a GPP might be interesting because I don't think a lot of people are going to go after him. And Man U is terrible at conceding sets and giving like allowing sets to score too. So if he has sets, like maybe you get him to 5-5, but it's just a tough slate. So that's that. I will say the EPL slate isn't that much better. Again, because we have Liverpool. So we have a 3-game EPL slate, and earlier DraftKings had decided that they were going to put the Tottenham Burnley lineups in already, which they weren't confirmed. Yeah, they still have it. So what we have to do is we actually have to not hide non-scorers because there's guys that they have starting like, yeah, it's a whole thing. In this lineup, we look at it. Maxwell Cornett will have sets. He's been really good. He's really expensive though. Like normally on a slate like this, you're not going to see him at 8-7, especially against Tottenham. Like if they're playing like Norwich, maybe I could see like a case, or if they're playing like a lower down the table side. But with Sung Han Min and Salah and Harry Kane and Diaz and Sadio Mane, like he's more expensive than Sadio Mane. Yeah, it's interesting what they did with the pricing. Like I don't know who priced these soccer slates, but they just really made it aggressive. I'd be really shocked if we don't see Kulusevski either. Kulusevski was incredible against Man U or against Man City, sorry, on the weekend. He's cheap too at 6-5. Where is he? Is he midfield only? Yeah. So Kulusevski 6-6 was really good against City. He had a goal, had an assist. Like just played really, really well. I expect Conte to reward him. Yeah, so I think we see Kulusevski. The wingbacks for Tottenham would be interesting. Emerson Royale left with an injury. Serge Roulian has had COVID. So it'll probably be Sigurdsson and Doherty. Is this a makeup game? If this is a makeup game, this might be why they have the lineups like this already. But yeah, so anyway, Doherty is okay at 5,000. Sessegnon is okay at 4-3. That's kind of this game. There's not much for me to tackle as well. And really quick, like goalie wise, like Nick Pope, just always got to say like it's Nick Pope. He's cheap. Tottenham, maybe they'll score. Maybe they'll probably score a couple, but yeah. Crystal Palace, Watford, goalie starting there. Guetta is probably out. He left the game against Chelsea. Okay, so I guess he's available, but we'll see. Butland came in over top on the weekend, which sucked because I had a bunch of Guetta and he had a clean sheet at that point, and then Butland ended up conceding like in the 88th minute, but it would have been nice to see if he can get a couple saves in this lineup. Over the weekend, cleverly Luza and Firmino all took, with most of them going to Luza and Kiko Firmino. Kiko Firmino is okay. I think Luza is the play at 3-7 though. He did, like I said, take a share of sets. I don't mind Kamara either. Kamara's been really good for Watford. He's cheapish at 4-7. But yeah, he's been really good. Crosses the ball a lot when he gets forward, when he has opportunities. And so we'll see. I probably won't dig too much into EPL myself, but in this lineup, Conor Gallagher probably upsets. He didn't play this weekend because of he's a Chelsea loanee, in which Elise took everything. But I expect Gallagher to come back and take the sets again. Wilfred Zaha, cheap enough as well. Elise is always in play. It's kind of this game as well. I'll probably get to Conor Gallagher. And then Leeds Liverpool. Leeds plays so open. So if you're playing Leeds, like, you know, Liverpool is, it's definitely, it'll be interesting to see. So I think Liverpool is like the stack. You got to stack them. This is what they did against the weekend. They did take Mane out to bring Firmino in because they were pushing for a goal. So maybe you saw Sneakus as like a left back, and he actually had Gomez playing as a right back and did okay. It sucked they conceded. I had so much Gomez, and I was like banking on like he got like 6 points set just from like open play, and I was like banking on him getting like a clean sheet on top of it. It didn't work, but it is what it is. I think like from like a Leeds like a Liverpool's perspective, maybe play Mane or Firmino. Firmino's out. That's why they have Gotcha. Okay, so that's why they have it as Diaz because Yota's out as well. So it'll probably be Salah, Mane, Diaz. Mane was better, is not as good as he was outside, up the middle. He did score. It was, but like he didn't cross. He didn't have the floor that he normally has. But you could probably play Mane against Leeds because they're so wide open. Yeah, I haven't really tried to build a lineup in this thing, so we'll do this right now. Like I said, I'm gonna get Luza in there because he's cheap. From a goalie perspective. It leads real quickly. Like Rafinha will have probably everything, and if he's not in for whatever reason, it'll be like Matthias Klitsch and Stuart Dallas splitting. It's kind of what happened over the weekend before he came in. I was on full on tilt mode because of like a bunch of people played Rafinha, didn't like wake up and set their lineups, and then he scored in the second half, and I was like, they got bailed out, but it's okay. You'd be on the better side. Historically, I've been talking about how Robertson and TAA, it's just been Robertson for me, but the pricing is starting to get close enough that like maybe now I play TAA over Robertson. I might try to get both in, but pricing on a slate might be tough to do so. Second forward, I didn't really talk about the Watford side for forwards, but Dennis is really cheap. Wout Weghorst was really good on the weekend. They just annihilated Brighton. It was so shocking, and it was all in the break. Like Brighton had like 80% possession, but they just like were super deadly on the break. So, yeah. Second forward, maybe I try to force in Salah, and then come down here. Maybe I try to play some. Is there any punts that I missed? I don't think so. You probably get away with playing Kamara, and then like you're left with like 4,000. It's tough. Yeah, I don't know what the DK guys were thinking when they priced these slates. It's like kind of maddening to like try to build, but like I said, everybody is the same builds. If it feels too nice, sometimes it's like everybody's gonna have the same chalk lineup. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with ownership. But yeah, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Sorry, it was a quick video today. Really tired, just went out with family, socialized for hours. So but good luck tomorrow. Get into the Discord because like I'm in there right before up into lock, answering questions, helping people with lineup construction. We had a good slate today. To Chelsea. We had a lot of Pulisic, had a lot of Havertz. People scored, which is great. But yeah, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and good luck tomorrow. And yeah.